Hi there, let's talk the Sunny Balwani trial. Day 8 and Erika Cheung and Mark Pandori testified. Did Erika Cheung report to Sunny Balwani or did she report to Elizabeth Holmes as the defense alleges? And will Mark Pandori testify about the inaccuracy of the technology and the results? We'll find out. We're going to look at some actual emails and you can make the call. Hi there, I'm Michelle Hagan. I'm a legal analyst and a former prosecutor. You may recognize me because I provided a lot of legal analysis on the Elizabeth Holmes case. So, this video is just for educational, informational purposes, and it's simply my opinion. I want to know what your opinion is. What's your take? What's your analysis on all of this? So, in case you popped onto this channel, Sunny Balwani was the COO, Chief Operating Officer of Theranos, a blood testing company that was started by Elizabeth Holmes. They were both charged with 12 counts, felony fraud counts, wire fraud counts for defrauding investors, defrauding patients, and 2 counts of conspiracy between the two of them to commit a crime. Elizabeth Holmes has already been tried. She was found guilty of 4 counts relating to defrauding investors and 1 count of conspiracy. Sunny Balwani is being tried separately, and he's facing those same 12 counts. So let's talk about Erika Cheung. Erika Cheung was one of the employees, lab employees, where she was doing the testing, quality control, etc. Mark Pandori was a former lab director. Okay, so hopefully that's enough information and I'll fill you in as we go. So thank you again to all of those who've subscribed. Please do subscribe. Please support my work. And please hit the like button. Hit that bell notification so you're notified of any upcoming videos. And please do share. And again, do subscribe. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these emails. And again, I want to know what you think. Manufacturing problem? Throwing out data points? What do you think? Okay, so here's an email from Daniel Young, but I'm going to go to the bottom of the stream here so we can take a look at. Okay, we're going to have to just look at a little background here. So Tina is one of the employees at Theranos working in the lab, and she's asking for these other employees to rerun some tests here. So they're rerunning tests. Why are they doing that? And this is May 9th of 2014. Okay, and you see that it's from Tina Lynn to several people, including Daniel Young. Okay, and then Tina again says, can you rerun some of these tests? And here's another email. Okay. Here's where Mark Pandori comes in, and now he's on direct examination by the prosecution. That means the prosecution is asking him questions. Then it will be cross-examination by the defense, Balwani's counsel. They will cross-examine Mark Pandori. He was a former lab director. Erika Cheung, her testimony's done at this point, right? She's already been asked questions by the prosecution. She's been cross-examined by Balwani's counsel. So the next witness, the one that's going to be on the stand, it's going to continue. The trial will continue on Friday. Mark Pandori will be under direct examination again. Okay? So here is Hoda, who sends an email to Adam Rosendorf and to Mark Pandori. She says almost every ISE sample needs a rerun since they're high. Most of the time, the rerun value is also high of the same. Is there a way we can have a limit on the reruns? So there's a problem here with the testing, right? That's what it indicates to me. All right, so now, Sunny. So Adam reaches out to Sunny Balwani, okay? All right, so here's a connection to Sunny Balwani. And Adam says, Sunny, sorry to bother you. I'd like to correct our ISE problem. Please see Hoda's email below. It's my opinion that sodium potassium chloride should be blah, 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 and run neat. I'm available anytime over the weekend. So he's pointing out to Sunny, hey, there's a problem here with the test. We got to rerun them, right? So What does Sunny say? Sorry, let me scroll up here. So Daniel Young writes, if the ISC are indeed leading to many reruns still, I sent Sunny an hour ago an update. So again, they're notifying Sunny, right? So part of the government's case here is to show that Sunny Balwani knew that these tests were not reliable and not accurate, right? And prosecution is alleging he made representations to investors and to patients that their technology, their testing was accurate and reliable. These emails could be argued, just my opinion, could be argued that they're showing that they're having problems and that Sunny was put on notice, right? Sunny had knowledge of this because here's Daniel Young saying that he had sent Sunny an update on the progress studies to resolve the ISC issues moving forward. And he says, I think we are getting close to mastering this, and having a unique, novel solution. Yeah, that's interesting. A unique, novel solution. In the meantime, before a final solution is implemented, running neat plasma is an option, but not a very good one, clearly. So obviously, these can be argued. They're having problems here with these tests, right? Alternatively, we have been looking at implementing a bias correction for the short term to deal with the ISC results that are trending high. If this analysis proves robust, I think we can roll this in on Tuesday. Please let me know your thoughts. Daniel. So, who jumps in here? At 8:50 p.m., Elizabeth Holmes writes, I'll take a look. If the bias correction is robust, we should implement it. What is the timeline on the final solution? And then Daniel Young writes, the studies to determine the final solution are planned to be complete next week. Then I plan to test the solution for several days before going live with it. So go live in about a week and a half is the working plan, Daniel. So these emails are showing, did Sunny know and what was Elizabeth's role in this? If the defense is arguing or implying in cross-examination that Erika Cheung and these other lab employees were reporting to Elizabeth Holmes, maybe this could be argued that she says, I'll take a look at it if the bias correction is robust. So in other words, she's involved in what's going on in the lab, right? So maybe, it went from Sunny to Elizabeth. So maybe everyone was following the direction of Elizabeth Holmes, not Sunny Balwani. You see, maybe they could argue that it wasn't Sunny who was making the calls, it was Elizabeth. So let's look at a couple other emails here. This is relating to, let me go down to the bottom here. These are emails between Erika Cheung and Adam Rosendorf, who was one of the lab directors. So it says Adam Rosendorf, lab director. Scroll through here. PSA results, TSH, free T4, hepatitis, testosterone. Okay. Adam's sending Erika results regarding the QC, the quality control on the Edison, the Theranos machines. So Erika says, thank you. I'm scrolling through these so you can read them if you want. And then Rosendorf says to Erika, do you happen to have the vitamin D ranges? And can we put the active and prior QC data in the dedicated folder? Okay, so they're communicating about the results, the quality control results between what's going on in the lab. And then Erika responds, I just figured out we didn't get the QC range established for the new set of vitamin D. They don't have the QC ranges for the vitamin D, the quality control ranges. So how do they know these tests, these instruments, or these analyzers are working properly if they don't have QC ranges established? The data is attached for the vitamin D. can you please send me this information to? I need the mean result, as well as the high and low values. I'll create a standard place to put all the QC information now. So they're still sorting things out in the lab. It's between Erika and Adam, right? And then Adam reaches out here, says to Erika, the CV, remember the correlation variance at 18 is way too high. So their variance, the variance between the results is, I hope I'm explaining this right, is too high, right? So there's a problem here. There's a problem on whether or not these tests, I don't know, I don't have a science degree, but this looks like there's a problem here. The CV is way too high according to our validations. It should be around 20%, right? That's what they were saying. And if you look at one of my prior videos, I think it's the Tyler calls out Elizabeth Holmes video, you can see this, he was questioning their whole variance, the discrepancies he was seeing. So they're saying that it's 33% and their validation wants to be 20%, so there's a problem. So Erika, he says, Erika, it's way too high. I am concerned that the high value is quite close to the value of 2. And then Adam reaches out to Sharada, which is another one of the employees in the lab. Can you weigh in on the possible solution? So they're trying to figure out why they're having difficulties with the variance. So this goes to, Erika's testimony regarding the difficulties or the discrepancies in the problems they were having with the lab results, the testing results. Okay, so here's Sharada's response. I'll go to the top here. Hi, Adam. The CVs are high. They're high between the devices. So they're using several devices to test blood results. The CVs are high between devices. If you see for the data in the daily QC, it's within cartridges are really tight. Since we are allowed to remove 2 data points from 6, so they get the results for 6 tests, and then they throw out 2 outliers, and then they average it. I think that's basically what this is saying. Since we are allowed to remove 2 data points from 6, I have attempted to do that with both level 1 and level 2 data, and that improves things. That's how they test patient results. Erika, please confirm, but it appears that we have used the calibration in the tab. That is the calibration set for the readers. If this is correct, then precision accuracy are within the acceptable criteria. So using words like if it's correct and throwing out data points, I don't know. Is that how they test blood? Okay. Then Sharada says to Adam, look at this email. Sharada says, since 3 devices are being used on one testing system, they use 3 devices and then they average or they consolidate the results and then they come up. This is beyond my pay grade. Since 3 devices are being used as one testing system for the purposes of QC, so they're testing 3 to check the quality control, we must consider them as one system device. Therefore, the within cartridge is not Therefore, the within cartridge CV, that's the correlation variance, is not relevant. As you are aware, we are calculating the mean. Back to, again, go to that video I did on Tyler calling out Elizabeth Holmes. They do mean. So mean, not the entire data set. They take, the mean result. Oh boy. In considering QC, if the CV are very high, if they're very high or the ranges overlap, which 2 data points should we remove from the database? Don't they sit down and talk about this and figure out? I haven't worked in a lab. So those of you who have, fill me in. But they're trying to figure out which 2 data points should we remove from the data set for the QC going forward? Is there a protocol for this? This is how they set up a lab? Nope. Oh boy. Okay, so now we're going to look at what Sharada says. Sharada says to Adam and to Erika, yes, I do agree with you that the intra-CVs are not relevant. I was highlighting to you that when evaluated independently, each cartridge has a tight correlation variance, blah, 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 which indicates that the assay itself does not have imprecision. So she's saying, I guess it's accurate? At this time, our outlier removal procedure, we just eliminate data points. Our outlier remover procedure is manual, meaning they decide, each, I guess, lab tech decides which ones to throw out. We can remove 2 out of 3. And it also depends on the data set. I choose the cartridge in green for exclusion since they improved. So she's picking which data points here to show that it improves the correlation variance. Oh boy. Okay, then Adam says to Sharada, yes, I agree that within instrument precision is good. So I guess within the instrument, the precision is good, but between the 3 instruments that they're using, the precision is not. This might be a manufacturing issue. And they're running results. This is manufacturing. Is this really? So, again, this goes to, shows you that Erika was talking, had raised concerns regarding whether or not the testing was accurate, reliable, having issues with correlation variances, having issues with quality control. And now Adam Rosendorf, who was a lab director, who testified in the Holmes trial, this might be a manufacturing issue is what he says. All right, so let's look at the next email. This is regarding Mark Pandori. Now, he did not, let me double check here, my notes. Yeah, he did not testify in the Elizabeth Holmes case. He's probably testifying in Balwani because possibly these emails, more of his role with Balwani and Rosendorf. Okay, so here's Mark Pandori and Erika Cheung and Adam Rosendorf. All right, so if you take a look at this one, this is an email from Erika to Adam Rosendorf, where Erika says, I reran the level 1 QC for the TSH, but it failed again. If we need to recalibrate, I'm just going to use the cartridges. I should be finished, blah, blah, blah. If this is the case, expect a delay on processing the patient samples until then. You remember Erika Cheung left Theranos because she was not comfortable with doing patient testing using this technology. All right, so she sends this to Adam. What does Adam say? Adam says, and it's CC'd to Mark Pandori now, so he's involved in this, or aware, could be argued aware, because he's getting these emails. Rosendorf says to Erika, please exclude the data point and recalibrate. So he's telling her what to do here, exclude some data. Erika says, I tried that. It still fails. Again, CC'd to Mark Pandori. And then Adam asks Erika, how old are the cartridges? Maybe that's the problem. It's cartridges. Maybe it's not the manufacturing error. And then Erika Cheung says to Adam and CC's it to Mark Pandori, everything was made recently, the earliest expiration date, blah, blah, blah. Adam says it has been colder the last day or 2. Is the instrument temperature correct? And then Erika says to Adam, I used the BSA buffer, it still failed. So this is now 3 times. If I delete to the point that could be possibly considered outliers on my rerun, the QC would pass. I attach the data showing what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I'm not sure what to do. She's telling Adam Rosador, the lab director, what am I supposed to do? These tests keep failing. And Mark Pandori's in the loop here. He's getting these emails. And then what does Adam say to Erika? Hi, Erika. Yes, we can delete the 2 of the 6 data points. So again, they're getting rid of data points here, the outlying data. And here's where Mark Pandori comes in. Adam, is there something that the CLA can stand on as a policy? Is this something that the CLA can stand on as a policy? Or do you want them to check with us before doing this? So Mark is questioning, are we doing things appropriately regarding what's required, legally required? And Adam says, this rule will be part of the algorithm when the Edison 3.5 calculations are automated. So basically what he's saying here is it's going to be part of the internal working, the algorithm in the Edison, the Theranos technology, the Theranos analyzer. When it's automated, it'll automatically throw out 2 of the 6 data points. And then Mark says to Adam, okay, so it is okay for the CLA to do this automatically until then. So in other words, allow employees to go ahead, just tell everyone to go ahead and just get rid of the outlying data. So again, this is showing that, Mark, maybe the defense will bring this up and show that there was obviously Mark Pandori, or I'm sorry, the prosecution will bring up, Mark Pandori was aware of there were problems here in the lab regarding the testing. On cross-examination, we're going to see what's going to happen with Mr. Pandori. So Mark says to Adam, thank you. Thanks for letting me know that we're, I have to back up a second here. Sorry about this. So Adam responds to Adam, yes, it's okay if they do that. That is why we are running 3 Edisons, to get enough data points to average out variability. They're running 3, not just 1, like when they use commercial machines, other companies use commercial machines. I don't know. Do they have 3 other machines running and then they average out what those results are? But they're running 3 Edisons, 3 Theranos analyzers, the Edisons, to get enough data points to average out variability. This is how they do this is nuts in my opinion. Okay, so I don't know, can I say that? So then again, here Mark is saying thank you to Adam. All right, so let's look at the last one here. So I will scroll down here. Okay, I hope this is helpful to you all. So here is now customer service at Theranos is getting involved. And they're having an issue with patient samples. And by the way, after Mark Pandori testifies, I'm looking at what happened in Holmes, they're probably going to get into the patient counts. So maybe Audra Zuckman, who's the nurse practitioner from Tempe, Arizona, she may be next, or Brittany Gold, who's the one that had the false miscarriage test. And yeah, we'll have to see. That'll probably be the patient counts next. But anyway, okay. So Elena Shear is a customer service associate, and she's sending out regarding they got duplicate patient entry because they had different date of births, and the date of birth was entered incorrectly, but now there's a duplicate patient record. Okay, so obviously they have some issues around how they, deal with patient records possibly here. So it's you can look to see several of the employees at Theranos. And this will tie to Mark Pandori and to Rosendorf, so hang in there. So this is interesting. So Max Fosk says to Elena, please follow up on why Brian Grossman has not been released yet. He was pending as of last night. This is critical to get out as soon as possible. Who's Brian Grossman? Brian Grossman is one of the, he's the witness who testified in the Holmes case for the PFM fund, one of the investors, and they lost, I think they invested $38 million in Theranos. So Brian Grossman went and got a test done. He wanted to check, this is part of his due diligence, I guess. He wanted to check to make sure, check out how this analyzer worked and what kind of results he was getting. And so this is showing that they had a problem with Brian Grossman's results. So Heather Chen says to Mark, as far as I know, the controls for one of his tests was not accepted because they didn't pass. So they're having issues with Brian Grossman, one of the investors' blood samples. The controls keep failing. Adjust the kit and then rerun controls again. So then this is giving you a picture of what happens at Theranos. So Max reaches out to Adam and Mark, the two lab directors, says, this patient, Brian Grossman, is a VIP. Would you mind looking into the slowdown here? I believe the H. pylori is run on predicate. Perhaps there's some issue with the machine. Max says maybe there's an issue with the machine. Tells Adam and Mark Pandori. Mark responds, Max, the controls failed in the first attempt. We are now rerunning. They're rerunning Brian Grossman's blood results, his blood test. And then Max says, great, thanks for the update. Please let us know the outcome. This is on the Emulite, correct? Emulite? I think Emulite, is that another machine they're using? I don't know. And then Mark Pandori responds to Max, yes. So these emails, basically these emails give you a picture of what was going on in the lab in Theranos, between the lab directors with Erika Cheung. So was the testing fair and accurate? Does this show that they had a problem? You let me know. You let me know what you think. And, whether or not Erika Cheung responded to Balwani or to Elizabeth Holmes, looking at that first email where Elizabeth steps in. And obviously, it's pretty clear by that email that she was definitely involved. Could be argued she was involved, and maybe the buck stops with her and not with Balwani, right? That the employees were following the direction of Elizabeth Holmes, not Sunny Balwani. I'm sure that's what the defense is arguing. And then Mark Pandori, we're going to see, because he didn't testify. I didn't see his testimony. He didn't testify in the Elizabeth Holmes case. So we're going to see on cross-examination what Mark Pandori says. I think yesterday he said basically the accuracy was as good as a flip of a coin. So that's problematic, right? And did Sunny Balwani know that? And if he did, could it be argued that he misrepresented that the technology and the testing was accurate and reliable to the investors and to the patients? So what's your analysis? Please do leave a comment. Hit the like button and hit the bell notification button and do subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.